Let's kick some shell!
Hello and welcome to Play Talk Repeat for this, our review of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge. I'm Oliver and I'm joined by Alex and Lewis.
Hello.
Ooh.
So for those that don't know, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge is a beat-em-up game developed by Tribute Games and published by .emu. It was released 2 days ago as of recording on June 16th and it is free on Game Pass. So can we start with opening statements, please, with your review score, Lewis?
Okay, my opening statement for the game once again is the game is just as much fun as I thought it would be when I first saw the trailer. I was very excited to see that a Turtles game was coming out, especially in the old style of games, like the Turtle in Time games and stuff. So I was very excited to see it, and I think probably most people when they were children were big fans of the Turtles in general. So it was just really nice to see some sort of like new version of the Turtles or new interpretation of the Turtles, as I feel like we haven't really seen any of them in any sort of medium recently. But yeah, the game's very fun. If you like any sort of beat 'em up, then you're probably gonna like this game, and I'd give it like a solid 8 out of 10. I thought it was a very, very fun time. Really, really well polished, and it didn't overstay its welcome. It was like as short as it needed to be, really.
Yes. Score, Lewis?
Once again, I'd give it an 8 out of 10.
Oh, you say 8 out of 10, sorry.
Yeah.
It is 8 out of
It
10.
is 11:30 at night. So, Alex, your opening statement, please.
So I haven't played any of the other Turtles games that are beat 'em up, so I haven't played like Turtles in Time or anything. But I had a really fun time with this one. I don't think I could ever play it single player though. This is definitely just a multiplayer game. Play with the boys, and then that's it. That's it. Done and dusted. Don't think I'll go back to it though. Solid, just one time experience, but it's a solid beat 'em up game. Really fun. Good to go back to the Turtles and stuff. Yeah, solid 8 out of 10.
Solid 8 out of 10. So yeah, very much. I don't play a lot of beat 'em up games. I think the last one I played was Battletoads, but before that, I hadn't played any to any great length. Or maybe like River City Ransom back in the day or something like that. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. It was great fun. Like Alex says, I wouldn't play it on my own. I don't even know if when you play on your own, they're putting like CPU controlled players or anything like that. I know they're doing Battletoads. They're definitely doing Battletoads. Yeah, so yeah, no, maybe not. I wouldn't play it on my own. It was great fun with the boys. A couple of things that was slightly off skew about it, but nothing to detract too much from its score. So I will also give it an 8 out of 10, which brings us to a nice round average of 8. Do you think anyone wants to check the maths on that? No.
Well, I don't know. I might have to, got a calculator anywhere.
So let's talk about the things we liked then, I guess. So for me, like the biggest high point of it really was the graphics, how it looked. It was very much styled as like a SNES 16-bit era game with the classic Turtles from the 1987 cartoon, and I just really enjoyed it. I'm not sure I would have enjoyed it if they did a Battletoads and like brought the graphics up to like today's standards. I wouldn't have enjoyed it as much. I think I really like my pixel art and things like that. Well, what were your high points from the game?
For me, honestly, in general, yeah, the art style was like a huge plus. I feel like if the game didn't look the way it did, it would take away from it a lot. Like the art style reminds me exactly of the Scott Pilgrim beat 'em up game. If anyone's played that, I just like that sort of style. You can tell it took them a long time to make it, and a lot of care went into it. It isn't just something that any company can do. It's certainly like an idea and a style that once you like decide you're gonna do it, you know it's gonna take a while, but if you commit to it, the end result will be really, really nice. I also really like a lot of the boss fights in the game. The general combat is hit or miss for me because I found myself most of the time just mashing my mashing square a bit, but when I realized I could just spam my super ability as the game went on, I sort of stopped pressing square, which I thought was a bit sad. I feel like they could have maybe introduced more combos throughout the game or unlocked more combos the same way you unlock super abilities. But I think the high points for me were definitely just the way it looked. Oh, the music as well. But the boss fights I thought were really good. I think if the boss fights failed to be interesting or exciting, the game would have got a much lower score. As that's sort of what I was looking forward to at the end of every level. That was like the main thing I was waiting for. So it's good that they were all well designed at least.
Yeah, Alex.
Yeah, pretty much everything Lewis said. The art style was amazing. I don't think I would have enjoyed it if it was like a HD, like upscaled thingy. I'm glad that it was like 8-bit, 16-bit, whatever it is. Um, really liked all the boss fights. I do think it should have had like maybe like a heavy attack and like a weak attack or something to like have like different combos rather than because I'd found myself using my super attack when I thought I was doing like a heavy attack, for example.
Yeah.
I think they could have limited how many super attacks that you could have done because we were just spamming those over and over and over and over again.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah. So to give context to what the guys are saying about the combat, so the way it works, so there are combos in the pause menu, but there isn't an awful lot of reason to learn them, kind of thing, because you've got everything you need in. So you got your basic attack where you square or X or whatever it is, and you can jump and do that. You can dodge, but beyond that, you got your super move, which is a Y or triangle, and that's like a big area of effect thing, and it's like it does the most damage. And so between fights, you can meditate, or for like Donatello, he plays his Game Boy for a few seconds, or Michelangelo dances, and that fills up your super meter to full basically. And then when you level up, you can stack supers as well. So it becomes a pattern of between fights just charging up, and then as soon as any enemies come on screen, you just super straight away.
Yeah.
So it's not the deepest combat in the world, I wouldn't say.
No, but I don't think a lot of people are looking for that when
No.
it comes to like a beat 'em up style game. I can't think of any other beat 'em up style game where it gets into like a really intense like skill tree or just like a really intense combo set. They've always played like this, and I think it's smart that they do for the most part. I feel like the reason beat 'em ups are so fun, at least for most people, is because you can just jump in and and sort of just like aimlessly press buttons and not really have to think about it. Sort of like when you're playing a fighting game, but you're not very good at fighting games. Like even if you're bad at them, it's always fun to just mash buttons and just watch stuff happen. And I think that's like the very essence of beat 'em ups for the most part. I don't think they're ever meant to get too technical. But with the length of the game and the way that the super abilities work, I don't know. It felt like it just needed a few additional moves because, as said, after like the halfway point, I was just pretty much spamming supers and never actually pressing square anymore, which was the punch button. I was just charging up my super and using that all the time as it was just the most effective way to kill enemies. Um, so yeah, I don't know. I think if you're a fan of beat 'em ups in general, you won't see a problem with it. But if you've only played a few of them and you're expecting something more, then you may obviously dislike that a little bit. You may find it a bit repetitive potentially.
Yeah, it's worth noting that so we played on the hardest difficulty, didn't we, Lewis?
Yes, we did.
Yeah, we played on gnarly.
I'll say I opted for that just mainly because I didn't think the game was going to be too difficult overall anyway, and I thought if we played on the regular mode, it would have been way too easy. And I would say if you're gonna play it, if at least with friends, maybe by yourself it'd be really difficult. But if you're gonna play with friends, I would highly recommend playing on the hardest difficulty. I never thought once during our playthrough that it was like too difficult or unfair. It felt pretty much like the perfect difficulty level that I wanted from this sort of thing. I wouldn't say that the critical is it critical, whatever it was. I wouldn't. Oh, gnarly. Sorry.
No.
I wouldn't say the gnarly mode is like this, like incredibly difficult mode or anything. For me personally, I'd say it was just the perfect difficulty if you wanted to play through the game. I think it would have been way
Lost
too
all
easy
our
otherwise.
lives twice,
Three times it was.
Three
three
times, yeah.
times.
Yeah.
So it wasn't that big of a deal, really.
Yeah,
And
like
the levels are about 10 minutes anyway, so you're just playing up to 10 minutes at a
I,
time.
I really do feel like the game would have been way too easy if you we played on any of the other modes. Obviously, if you want to play
Yeah.
on those, it's fair. But if you're looking for something that's like somewhat of a challenge, then I'd play on the gnarly difficulty, personally.
Yeah, well, it's definitely worth noting that. So we played the story mode, but there is also an arcade mode where you got limited lives. It's kind of like they tried to recreate the arcade experience, kind of thing. So if we played on that, it would have been a lot more difficult.
Oh yeah, it would have been incredibly difficult.
Yeah, I think would have really struggled. But in story mode on Gnarly, like Lewis says, it was never. Never felt like it was too hard. I think when we played a lot of the levels on the first day. On the second day, we came back and did it. Well, during like the first level after that break, we struggled, but that's because we kind of fallen out the pattern of meditate super over and over again kind of thing. But as soon as we picked it up again, it was back to the races.
Yeah.
So, do you guys have a favorite boss that you can remember? I know there's a lot of them.
My favorite one was I don't remember what it was called, but the one basically the robot Tin Head was he called or something? Chrome Dome?
Chrome Dome.
Yeah.
Where you have to throw the enemies towards the screen to like get him out of his robot suit.
Very, very good.
Yeah, I thought that was a very, very fun mechanic. And I liked how they were still switching it up, even like 2 levels before the game was ending. I found that to be a very satisfying boss fight. I did figure out how to beat it very quickly, but even just figuring that out, I don't know, it just felt very good to me. I did enjoy it.
It's a challenge in itself because some people wouldn't think to throw an enemy at the screen.
Yeah.
No.
But yeah, that was my favorite.
That's probably my favorite as well. I can't think of another one that was like that unique. But yeah, I probably just agree with Lewis. The Chrome Dome was the best.
Yeah, some of the bosses had like unique patterns and things like that, but the whole viewing from the robot's point of view and throwing enemies, that was like the most unique. Like there was some fights where the boss was invulnerable for a bit and things like that. You had to wait for your opportune moment, like in particular the last boss. Mine was the evil turtle. What was he called? Slash.
Yeah.
Slash. It wasn't a particularly like hard boss fight or anything like that, but he had his periods of invulnerability when he was like rolling around in his shell. But I just really like the design of him. I'm a sucker for evil protagonist kind of thing,
like an evil like doppelganger, like Shadow,
exactly, like Dartlink and stuff like that.
Yeah,
you know what I mean, like an evil version of the people you're playing at. So, who's everyone's favorite turtle?
In this game or just in general?
So in the game, you played as Alex played as Michelangelo. Me and Lewis had a debate over who gets to play Donatello, and I won that debate. So Lewis played as Shredder.
No, he played as Splinter.
Yeah, I played as Splinter.
That's the one. Shredder's the bad guy.
I also get confused with those two names, to be fair. No, yeah, if I had to choose favorite turtle just in general, it's always Donatello. I've just always liked Donatello. I think everyone's boring who just chooses Leonardo and Raph as the favorite turtles because they're the two like top dogs when it comes to popularity.
Yeah.
But Donatello's by far my favorite, and I even said to the boys, if I have to play a turtle, I would play as Leonardo. If I have to choose someone else, because I hate Raphael.
Yeah.
But I ended up playing as Shredder because Oliver cruelly took Splinter because Oliver cruelly took Donatello away from me. Yeah. And I would have played as Casey probably as well, but you don't unlock him until you actually beat the game. So if you're looking to play as Casey your first time round, it's not happening, sadly.
You have to be starting first.
Yeah.
Which is annoying. Why not just give us a character?
Yeah, it's I don't know. I like games of unlockables. I like receiving something for.
Yeah, I like that, but and I also feel like this game is designed to play through countless times. I don't think it's meant to be a one and done thing. Oh, really? Like, how long did it take us to beat it? Like 3 hours, probably 4 hours.
Yeah, about 3 hours. In total, yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely a game that's designed to just keep playing through and just have fun with. So I do enjoy the unlockables, and I'm not sad that they didn't give it us straight away. But if you are looking to play as him when you buy it, or if you play it on Game Pass, you're gonna be a bit disappointed.
Get through the story mode first.
But you do have the Turtles and Splinter and April to play as. So, I mean, you've got a nice roster. And they all have unique moves, it does seem. Like, from what I was seeing everyone
They've all got different stats as well.
Yeah, different stats.
But yeah, what about you two? Well, I mean, I know yours, I guess. Who's your favourite turtle then, Alex, I suppose?
Michelangelo, I already said.
Why Michelangelo?
Because he's cool, he likes pizza, and he has the colour orange, which is the best
I don't know if I'd argue Michelangelo out of all the turtles is cool. The reason I like Donatello is just because he's a bit nerdy and he just feels like no one should like him. But I don't know, there's something about him that just
nunchucks are a cool weapon, though.
Mikey's got the surfer talk, you know. That's amazing. I mean, back in the 90s, early 2000s, when you heard of server talk, it was like, oh, I'm gonna
That
start.
is
I'm gonna
true.
start saying dude to everyone now.
That is true.
Cowabunga.
Exactly. But yeah, to be fair, Donatello's probably got the most boring weapon of all of them. It's just a bow
That's
staff.
what I was
It's
gonna
just a
say.
big
He's just got the
stick,
bow
yeah.
staff.
But I like Donatello.
Um,
Like Lewis says, he like the fact he's a bit geeky. Like he likes
Yeah.
tinkering with machines like me. And he seems like the nicest turtle out of all of them, to be honest with you.
Yeah, for sure,
Just a
sure.
pure of heart turtle. But most of all, he's purple, so it's always gonna be mine. Lewis. I got dibs on everything purple from here on
I mean,
out.
that's true. I mean, like, I willingly gave it up. I didn't really fight for
No,
it.
you didn't
I
fight for it, to be fair.
I happily gave
I
it
saw
up.
a rat and he was like, yes,
Yeah,
rat.
Lewis does like rat. He's the rat king.
Not the right.
The rat king. So finally, then I guess I want to talk about. So what didn't we like about the game? They must have had some issues with it.
I'm trying to think. Oh well, I mean, one of the main issues I had with it, but I don't know if this is specific to this game. To be brutally honest with you, is I just couldn't tell what was going on half the time. To be honest, like I'd be in a mid. Like bear in mind this that can play with you can play with up to 6 people, so there can be 6 people on screen at once fighting all these enemies. And with all the bright colors happening and everyone making noises, like so, a lot of the times there was just a lot of shit going on to the point where it was literally impossible for me to know where I was standing, who I was hitting, if I was dead or not. But I don't think that's like a problem specific to this game necessarily. I think that's just beat 'em ups in general. They maybe could have done something like give your player an outline. I don't think there was an outline on your player. But they maybe could have given it like a colorful outline or something to help me like see what was going on. But that did get annoying sometimes because there were times where I thought I was fighting someone just to realize that I was like in the corner, just mashing square, not doing anything. So yeah, I'd say that was probably my biggest gripe with it.
So to be fair, so we like using Cuphead as an example. So because we played with more people, it could potentially be easier. All right. So the way the way Cuphead does it is so when you play with 2 people, the boss's HP doesn't change or anything. It doesn't get any harder, but it's a lot harder to keep track of what's going on the screen. So it kind of
Yeah.
balances out the difficulty slightly. It's not the most elegant way of doing it, but it could potentially be a reason why they didn't put outlines in or something like that.
Yeah.
So
'Cause even with just 3 of us, we were losing track of each
Oh, yeah.
other.
Yeah,
Like,
constantly.
it was a nightmare when we played with Scott. So Scott played with us briefly as well. He played as April, didn't he?
Yeah.
But even with with Scott, who just added more chaos to the screen. You just couldn't.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
literally.
with 6 people, I imagine it would be horrible. I'll also just throw this in there as well because I gave it an 8, so I have reason to say it's not a perfect game. Even though the game was fun, it doesn't in any way try to like innovate or like do anything like exciting that hasn't been seen before. It is very by the books, and it's everything you've seen in this game you will have seen in other places. It really doesn't attempt anything new. That's not necessarily a bad thing. It's still enjoyable, but it is a bit sad to see like no like new ideas for the genre or anything. It would be interesting to see a beat 'em up style game that actually implements something new and something that we haven't seen before. But this isn't the game for that.
No.
Sadly.
Alex. Pardon?
I'm joking.
I didn't know
So
what you said.
negative things.
Negative things, yeah. Alex isn't paying attention.
I hopped on like losing track of your character and stuff. I didn't really like the hoverboard levels that much. I thought they were quite annoying, just having to like dodge like the asteroids and like the cars. I think the game would have been fine without those. It was just a case of like, look what we can do. We're better than Battletoads. Those are like my only main issues with the game. Really, can't think of anything else off the top of my head.
Yeah. I would have thought one of your biggest gripes would have been the glitches you got for playing on the Xbox One X instead of playing on the Series
Yeah, you
X.
got
Forgot about that. Yeah, so I played on Xbox One X while these guys played on PC. And sometimes when we'd load the game, I would just be invisible and I would just be getting hit and I couldn't do anything. So I just had to restart the level.
I'm gonna hope that was like a connection issue rather than a console issue, because if this game really is struggling to run properly on a console that's like 5 years old, then there's some major issues with the game because it should be running perfectly fine. Bear in mind, Alex obviously played on console and he was the only one having these issues.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it was just because he was on the Xbox One X or what, but do then bear that in mind, I guess, if you're playing with your friends, that you might have to restart the level 900 times, because
It
One
could
of your
be,
friends is like, I'm invisible, then just restart the level and it should be
Yeah.
fine.
yeah, it could be like it could be just a cross-play issue. I don't think it's a connection issue because he only ever had the issue at the beginning of the level.
yeah,
Yeah.
It was
that's
only
true.
ever in the first few seconds. But yeah, no. So I don't think it would be a connection, but it could be just like a cross-play issue. Oh,
Yeah.
but like you say, it would be strange if it didn't run on. This should be
Yeah,
able to
there's
run
no
on 360.
excuse.
It should be able
Yeah,
to, yeah, it's.
yeah.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
an 18-bit game. For my issue, like let's say the glitches were just like that you experienced was slightly annoying, but I'd maybe add more unlockables. If it is a game you want someone to play over and over again, like I've just been searching through now, there doesn't seem to be any other unlockables apart from Casey Jones, unless I'm just missing something.
Well, what do you get for collecting the like collectibles then, like the
It's just
VHS
points.
tapes and
It was
stuff?
just points, it
Just to
said
level up.
underneath.
Oh, wow,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, no, I
It
can't
would have
see
been nice to
anything.
get like costumes and stuff. That would have been fun. Because you could
Just
have had like their like outfits like when they're patrolling like the city and stuff, like keeping in disguise. Like from the 2003 cartoon. Just anything would have been nice.
Yeah, it would have been
yeah,
cool
it's a
to be able
bit
to play as
weird.
Shredder. That would have been
It is
cool.
a bit weird
Yeah,
with the
that would
lack
have been
of
cool.
collectibles. I don't really know what's going on there, to be honest. You
Yeah.
would have thought they would have put, especially since the game is full of challenges as well. Like
Yeah.
each level has its own unique challenges but all they seem to give you as well is points to level up your character.
Yeah.
So yeah, that is a bit strange, honestly.
Yeah, I'm just looking through now. The only like rewards you get for getting all the collectibles and stuff like that is just achievement or a trophy, just working your way towards that platinum, I guess. But that's it. That's all you get. But other than that, 8 out of 10. Very, very, very fun game. We had a great time with it. Definitely recommend playing it with your friends because
What's
Yeah.
the
I wouldn't play on your own.
what's the asking price for this game if you're not playing it on Game Pass?
that's a
I
very
think it's
good
17.
question.
£17.
Because I say it's worth it, but that's only because I played it on Game Pass. I don't, because like I said, the game's very short. You need to bear that in mind.
Yeah, 3
Um,
hours is
So you may want to, if you're gonna play it, you may,
£18 with PlayStation Plus, so £20
yeah.
on
If you're a massive
PlayStation.
fan of the Turtles, I can understand it. And even then, £20 not too bad. But I would highly recommend probably playing it on Game Pass if you can, just because it's free.
Yeah, or wait for a sale or something.
Yeah,
Well, yeah, exactly. If you just pay for a month of Game Pass, you're gonna save 50% at least.
yeah.
It
Yeah.
just depends what you want from the game. If you want a game that you want to play over and over and over again and get all the collectibles and all that stuff, then and get platinum it, then it would be worth 20 quid to you. But otherwise,
Yeah.
just if you're playing for it once like we did, just Game Pass, quick and simple.
Yeah. Wait for the 3 months for £1.
Yeah,
Get on that.
wait for that. Exactly. Right, so we shall call it there, I guess. So like I said, so our collective score of it was 8 out of 10. I highly recommend it.
Yep.
It's on Game Pass. Go play it. It's good fun.
Yep.
So what's coming up? So the next video that I can think of the top of my head is our Desert Island Games discussion video. What games would all take to a desert island? That's out on the 20th. Then we've got a tier list out on the 25th. Can someone remind what it is? Is it UK Sweets?
It's UK Sweet.
Yeah.
UK Sweets. That's on the 25th. And then our video game book club
Crisis.
for Crisis should be out on the 31st of this month. But other than that, thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe, and we shall see you later.
Bye.